lecture on how to truly let go. If you want to know really and completely how to surrender and let go, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And please subscribe, like, comment, especially comment. It does help the channel a lot. So even if you want to put a hateful comment, by all means, I still appreciate the feedback and it does help my channel. So go for it. Now let's start. Letting go is very simple, but few will apply it to their life. It's a discipline of the mind that needs to be cultivated. But as Leo from actualize.org said, it is a superpower, and it really, really is. Letting go will make your life much easier in every aspect, whether it is your goals, your spirituality, your relationship, etc., etc. Letting go will help tremendously depending on how much you are willing to let go. Letting go is the discipline of surrender to a particular thing. Generally speaking, it's an emotion that can lead all the way to an attachment. Once you let go of it, it's like putting the weight down. You automatically feel lighter. As Bruce Lee said, it's not the daily increase, it's the daily decrease. Now, I'm going to read to you guys an excerpt from the amazing, fantastic book by David Hawkins, Letting Go. The mechanism of letting go. Letting go involves being aware of a feeling, letting it come up, staying with it, and letting it run its course without wanting to make it different or do anything about it. It means simply to let the feeling be there and to focus on letting out the energy behind it. The first step is to allow yourself to have the feeling without resisting it, venting it, fearing it, condemning it, or moralizing it. It means to drop judgment and to see that it is just a feeling. The technique is to be with the feeling and surrender all efforts to modify it in any way. Let go of wanting to resist the feeling. It is resistance that keeps the feeling going. When you give up resisting or trying to modify the feeling, it will shift to the next feeling and be accompanied by a lighter sensation. A feeling that is not resisted will disappear as the energy behind it dissipates. As you begin the process, you'll notice that you have fear and guilt over having feelings. There will be resistance to feelings in general. To let feelings come up, it is easier to let go of the reaction to having the feelings in the first place. A fear of the fear itself is a prime example of this. Let go of the fear of guilt that you have about the feeling first, then let go of the feeling itself. When letting go, ignore all thoughts. Focus on the feeling itself, not on the thoughts. Thoughts are endless and self-reinforcing, and they only breed more thoughts. Thoughts are merely rationalizations of the mind to try and explain the presence of the feeling. The real reason for the feeling is the accumulated pressure behind the feeling that is forcing it to come up in the moment. The thoughts or external events are only an excuse made up by the mind. As we become more familiar with letting go, it will be noticed that all negative feelings are associated with our basic fear related to survival, and that all feelings are merely survival programs that the mind believes are necessary. The letting go technique undoes the programs progressively. Through that process, the underlying motive behind the feeling becomes more and more apparent. To be surrendered means to have no strong emotions about a thing. It's okay if it happens, and it's okay if it doesn't. When we are free, there is letting go of attachments. We can enjoy a thing, but we don't need it for our happiness. There is progressive diminishing of dependence on anything or anyone outside of yourselves. These principles are in accord with the basic teaching of the Buddha to avoid attachment to worldly phenomena, as well as the basic teachings of Jesus Christ to be in the world but not of it. Sometimes we surrender a feeling and we notice that it returns or continues. This is because there is more of it yet to be surrendered. We all stuff those feelings of our lives, and they can be a lot of energy pushed down that needs to come out and be acknowledged. When surrender occurs, there is an immediate lighter, happier feeling about, almost like a high. By continuously letting go, it is possible to stay in that state of freedom. Feelings come and go, and eventually you realize that you are not your feelings, but that the real you is merely witnessing them. You stop identifying with them. The quote unquote you that is observing and is aware of what is happening always stays the same. As you become more and more aware of the changeless witness within, you begin to identify with that level of consciousness. You become progressively primarily the witness rather than the experiencer of phenomena. You get closer and closer to the real self and begin to see that you had not been duped by feelings all along. You thought that you were the victim of your feelings. Now you see that they are not the truth about yourself. They are merely created by the ego, that collector of programs which the mind has mistakenly believed are necessary for survival. The results of letting go are deceptively quick and subtle, but the effects are very powerful. Often we have to let go, but think that we haven't. It will be our friends who make us aware of the change. One reason for this phenomenon is that when something is fully surrendered, it disappears from consciousness. Now, because we never think of it, we don't realize that it has gone. This is a common phenomenon among people who are growing in consciousness. We are not aware of all the coal that we have shoveled. We are always looking at the shovelful we are handling right now. We don't realize how much the pile has gone down. Often, our friends and family are the first ones to notice. To keep track of progress, many people keep a chart of their gains. It helps to overcome the resistance that usually takes the form, "This isn't working." It is common for people who have made enormous gain to claim, "It just isn't working." We have to remind ourselves sometimes that what we were like before we started this process. Resistance to letting go. Letting go of negative feelings is the undoing of the ego, which will be resistant at every turn. This may result in skepticism about the technique, forgetting to surrender, a sudden upsurge of escapism, or venting feelings by expressing and acting out. The solution is simply to keep on letting go of the feelings you have about the whole process. Let the resistance be there, but don't resist the resistance. You are free. You don't have to let go. Nobody is forcing you. Look at the fear behind the resistance. What are you afraid of regarding this process? Are you willing to let go of that? Keep letting go of every fear as it arises, and the resistance will resolve. Let's not forget that we are letting go of all the programs that have made us a slave and a victim for a long time. These programs have blinded us to the truth of our real identity. The ego is losing ground and will try tricks and bluffs. Once we start letting go, its days are numbered and its power is diminishing. One of its tricks is to go unconscious about the technique itself. For instance, to decide suddenly that the mechanism of surrender isn't working. Things are still the same. It is confusing and too hard to remember to do. This is a sign of real progress. It means that the ego knows we have a knife with which to cut ourselves free, and it is losing ground. The ego is not our friend. Like Master Control in Tron 1982, it wants to keep us enslaved by its programs. Letting go is a natural ability. It is not something new or foreign. It is not exoteric teaching or somebody else's idea or belief system. We are merely utilizing our own inner nature to get freer and happier. When letting go, it's not helpful to think about the technique. It's better simply just to do it. Eventually, it will be seen that all thoughts are resistance. They are all images that the mind has made to prevent us from experiencing what actually is. When we have been letting go for a while and have begun experiencing what is really going on, we will laugh at our thoughts. Thoughts are fake, absurd make-believes that obscure the truth. Pursuing thoughts can keep us occupied endlessly. We'll discover one day that we are right where we are started. Thoughts are like goldfish in a bowl. The real self is like the water. The real self is the space between the thoughts, or more exactly, the field of silent awareness underneath all thoughts. We have had the experience of being totally absorbed in what we were doing. When we scarcely noticed the passage of time, the mind was very quiet and we were simply doing what we were doing without resistance or effort. We felt happy, maybe humming to ourselves. We functioned without stress. We were very relaxed, although busy. We suddenly realized that we never needed all those thoughts after all. Thoughts are like bait to a fish. If we bite at them, we get caught. It's best not to bite at the thoughts. We don't need them. Inside of us, but out of awareness, is the truth that is, I already know everything I need to know. This happens automatically. Paradoxically, one resistance to surrendering is due to the effectiveness of the technique. What happens is that we keep letting go when life is not going too well and we are beset by unpleasant emotions. As we finally surrender our way out of it and all is well, then we stop letting go. This is a mistake because as good as we may feel, there's usually more to it. Take advantage of the higher states and the momentum of letting go. Keep on going because it will get better and better all the way we feel, the easier it will be to let go. That's a good time to reach down and let go of some things, suppressed and repressed garbage that we wouldn't want to tackle if we were in the dumps. There is always a feeling to be let up and surrendered. When we are feeling good, the emotions are merely subtle. Sometimes you will just feel stuck with a particular feeling. Simply surrender to the feeling of being stuck. Just let it be. And don't resist it. If it doesn't disappear, see if you can let go of the feeling in bits and pieces. Another block that may occur is the fear that if we let go of a desire for something, we won't get it. It is often beneficial to look at some commonly held beliefs and let go of them right in the beginning, such as we only deserve things through hard work, struggle, sacrifice, and effort. Suffering is beneficial and good for us. We don't get anything for nothing. Things that are very simple aren't worth much. Letting go of some of these psychological barriers to the technique itself will allow enjoyment of its effortlessness and ease. Conclusions. There are many ways you can let go. The letting go method of David Hawkins is fundamental, and I strongly recommend you use it in your day-to-day life, to whatever extent that is possible for you right now. Meditation is also something I recommend for every day and for everybody. It's a very, very good way to let go. Actually, David Hawkins method is like a constant meditation. I've always said that meditation is not limited to sitting down with your legs crossed twice or 3 times a day. There are other practical ways you can let go. Take a stick, write down past on it, and throw it as far as possible. That's one example of technique method you can use. Another one you can do, take a piece of paper, take your pen, write down all the negativity that is constantly coming to harass your mind. Write it all down, read it once, read it twice, read it a third time, and fucking burn it. Another method which is a little gross but works wonders is that toilet paper method. And I got it from a monk. Bear with me, it's not from me. When you need to go to the toilet and take a shit, write down the negative things that it is bothering you the most. The fear, the sadness, the depression. Write it down. And when you are done doing your business in the toilet, wipe your butt with that toilet paper. Throw it away and flush it away. Your mind will make the connection between the negativity and the feces on the toilet paper. And that's a very radical way to let go, but it works. Regardless of the method you use, let go. Let go of fear, let go of conditions, let go of control, let go of sadness, let go of resistance, let go of doubt, let go of judgment towards yourself and others. David Hawkins said that negativity is like the clouds that block the sun. Surrender and let go and shine bright. Hope you guys like it, and I'll see you soon.